Okay, here's what I've been up to. Haven't made a video for a while. Here's this rotor made out of a metal cutting saw blade. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick. And it's super strong, super flat. And it's 12 inches, 1 foot wide. I have these magnets. They're 1 inch diameter with a 1/2 inch hole inside. Neodymium's grade 52, of course. And I put a wood dowel here. It's 1 inch. It happens to be the hole in the cutting saw blade is 1 inch. And I found this at an art store, just a wood disc. And so I super glued it in there. I used gel type super glue. Used quite a bit in there. It takes a few minutes for it to really stiffen up. So during that time that I put it in here, I took like one of these triangles. And so while it's drying, I would put this like right up there and just try to have it within a millimeter of it being perfectly 90 degrees from the flat disc. Because if it's not 90 degrees, like a couple degrees off, when this spins, it'll be really warped. Horrible spin. So you want this to be exact 90 degrees. So, and these are magnets, and I'm going to be making a frame. I'm going to pop another magnet, so this will be, they're 1/4 inch thick, they'll be 1/2 inch thick. I'm going to have 2 on here. And so it'll be supported, and I'm going to have a magnet here, magnet here, magnet here, and it repels, and so it'll float in the air. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. They're called Mendocino motors. There's a lot of them on YouTube. And usually they support one end magnetic bearings, but the other end they have like a pinpoint in it, and it rotates like on a pinpoint on the other end. But I've seen like 1 or 2 guys who actually have magnets holding it in place, so there's virtually no friction, just being held in the air with magnets only. So that's what I'm looking for with this. And probably I'll be using these directionally wound coils. I've got 6 of them. They take me about 1.5 hours to wind. And you see all these strips of masking tape. The way the directional goes is you just wind on the core. When you get to the end, you start from the back, go to the end, this end, the front. This will be what be reacting with the magnets. And when it gets there, you can kind of see it right here. You bend the wire straight back, bring it back to the beginning, and then wind the same direction as you just did before. And then go to the front. When you get there, pull it straight back. When you pull it straight back, you want to have it sandwiched with tape, because if it's to run along the winds, it could chafe and cause shorts. So I sandwich it with masking tape because it's thin. And also when I use this Litz wire, this is it's got a cloth covering on it. And if you use regular electrical tape, if you pull it apart, it rips everything apart. And the masking tape's very thin too. This wire I'm using is 10 strands of 44 gauge, 0.05 millimeters. And in Litz wire, each wire strand is insulated too with some sort of varnish. So you can imagine 10 strands inside of here. I smashed my finger. It's really ugly on camera, so I put a band-aid over it. Okay, so hold on a little bit. Take a break here, hold on. Okay, I bought 20 of these ferrite rods off of eBay. Some guy in Russia sells them. It got here in a week, actually. They're 4 millimeters thick and 45 millimeters long. And the way I wind them, it's kind of cool. They got a, if you knock them, they have kind of a ring to them. But these are not conductive. It's not like steel or iron. They are not conductive. And they're good for fast frequencies. And what I do is, you see the total length of it's this much. This is going to be all motor coil. This is what's going to be pushing the magnets around in the rotor. And later on, I'm going to fill up the space behind here. And it's going to be a big kind of barrel-shaped coil. And what I'm going to fill the space up with is going to be a bunch of pickup winds, generator winds. So the back of the motor coils inducing into generator winds. And it also shares the ferrite core back here too. And I'm going to start winding about a little less than a 1/4 inch from the front, because I don't want the rotor magnets causing Lenz's law on the generator coils. I want the generator coils to be induced by the motor coil pulse, and also sharing the core in the back. So eventually it'll have 4 wire leads. It'll have these 2 Litz wire coils for the motor, and I'm probably going to use regular magnet wire for the rest of it, and not Litz wire. When I was in Belarus, I had Litz wire coils and everything. And I also wound those directional too. But I think I'm just going to go back and forth solenoid wind, you know, and fill it up. And so what I do is I take a penny and I super glue with just a little dot of super glue these ferrite cores on there, let it dry, and then that's what I use to wind with. And as I wind, I just put a little tiny dot of super glue towards the front to hold the winds together. And then I have all these pieces of tape. As I'm winding, I grab a piece of tape, because when it comes back straight, you need to sandwich it with a tape below and a tape above the wire, so there won't be any shorts. Okay, hold on a sec again. Okay, I glued a penny onto the end of a ferrite rod with some super glue, gel type. This one isn't so good. You can see it's not 90 degrees square. And you might as well have it perfect if you're going to do this. So I'm going to give it a see if I can fix it a little. And you see what I did here is I have it suspended or pressured down with this masking tape, and then you can look at it and get it as 90 degrees as you can, and shove the penny over a little bit, get it so it's right perfect. And this repair right here, I don't know if I can do it. So anyways, you want that to be nice and square. The air gap is, you want it just as tight as possible between the coil and the rotor magnets. Okay, well, it's kind of boring. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, when you take the leads out, protect them sandwich with some tape. See what I did there? Same with this other one. Because what's going to happen is there'll be winds about this wide, the pickup generator winds. And when you're finished and you mount these in the stators and you get it running, you're going to want to put a magnet back here too, backing magnet. If it's a motor coil or a generator coil, and these are combination motor and generator coils, so you want to have, you know, protection of these wires coming out. There's nothing worse than after you get it all made, these wires break off right here where they come out. So kind of have that protected, strengthened with some tape, and I'll probably do some more after this. Might even use electrical tape over this later. So this one's looking better now. Okay, I'm just going to show the first layer of wind so everyone gets an idea of what a directional wind is. And the reason for a directional winds is that instead of the flux kind of a ball shape, you know, coming out, it's going to be more of a cannon shape. It's going to be more concentrated flux against the magnet, so it's going to repel or attract the magnet better. with more force for the same amount of input. I've said this before in some other videos, but it's the difference between a unidirectional microphone and an omnidirectional microphone. Omnidirectional picks up the whole room, everything in the room. Unidirectional has the flux of the microphone focused, so only the singer's voice is picked up. And this is like a unidirectional microphone. It's like focused because it's directionally wound. And all it means to be directionally wound is after each row you pull it straight back and start again at the back end and go the same direction each time. I have these labeled left-hand rule and right-hand rule. And if any of you don't know what that means, here's left-hand rule. Your thumb is the direction you're going. You want to have that force going that way. And this is the way the winds go, the way your fingers go. So that's a left-hand rule. Right-hand rule is like this. So the reason you have a left-hand rule and a right-hand rule is you want, when you have a magnet, it's going to be like a rotor magnet between. It's going to be north on one side, south on the other, so you want this to be going the right direction, to like so they both repel. So you have one left-hand rule and one right-hand rule, or you have them both attract at the same time. So hold on a second again. Okay, to start a wind, directional wind, I want about the same amount of ferrite exposed in the back, so they're all the same, so it's about a ½ inch, a little over ½ inch. And then I put just a spot of super glue here, just did 3 winds, and I put a piece of tape over it. Okay, so there's the beginning of the wind. And I have a pretty, maybe 4 or 5 inches of lead wire. And this will be exiting out the back. So this is the input wire. And then you just wind along. Might want to put headphones on. Listen to some music. So I like Keith Jarrett, solo piano albums. Anyways, so you just go along and wind it. Okay, I'm going to press pause because this is boring. Okay, also, this is when you also want to protect the lead wire coming out the back. See, so I sandwiched it in masking tape this distance. So when it comes out, when it makes that bend, when it exits, it's going to be protected with tape. And I'll put a piece of tape here too. Okay, and also now when you're winding this coil, you're going to be going like this, twisting it with the ferrite core back here, so you don't want to mess up the wire and break it or make things bad back here while you're twisting it. So protect this back end now. And so now I only used super glue on that very first starting point, and just a drop of it. And you can go ahead of yourself, make wide winds, and then slide them all forward. It's really pretty easy. Wear some reading glasses. Okay, so you can just speed along. Oops. I'm going to press pause again. Okay, when I get the winding almost near the front, I put about less than 1/8 of an inch. I just put a small little spot of super glue up here. That's it. That's maybe too much even. And then I continue to wind all the way till it hits the penny. And this penny is going to, when you're finished, you're going to pop this penny off. So you don't want the thing to have tons of super glue and you can't get the penny off, and when you take off the penny it ruins everything. Oh, it's not really, I'm rushing this. The penny is now coming off. Ugh. Anyways, I'm going to just continue and finish this first layer. I should have let that glue dry a long time, holding that penny on, because it was just a small dab. Okay, when I get to the end here, I put a piece of tape here, right on the end. Wrap a piece of tape around here. I'm going to go for smaller tape. Sorry, I'll try to keep it in the frame. Okay, I'm just going to take this penny off now. I screwed it up. But imagine the penny's still on there. Yeah. And this is going, let's see, which way is it going? It's wrapping around like this. So this is a right-hand rule. I'm wrapping the wire like this. This is a right-hand rule. Now, sorry I don't have that. Now you want to go over on top of that piece of tape that I put there. And have tape so it comes all the way to the back. I wish that penny was still on there, but it's not. But I want to finish this. Okay, now you see I've laid down a piece of tape over the winds. And now I bent this 90 degrees, this wire here, the end of the wind that comes to the end of the core. Bent it 90 degrees, and now I want to sandwich it. I want to sandwich it with tape. So I have some below, now I'm going to put some on top. Right there. Maybe a little bit more in the back. Now it's right hand rule, so it's going to be going around this way. So now when you bend it 90 degrees at the back, you go the same winding direction. If you don't, it's going to cancel the magnetic field and you won't have any power. So you continue the same direction. Okay. And then you go all the way to the front again, and then you continue this process of pulling it back after each row. So like I said, it takes me about an hour and a half to wind one of these. And I go 4 layers all the way back, and then after that I start making it cone shaped in the back. Okay, so that's pretty good for now. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later.